Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series here in Season 18. It's a new year, new season, and new cars. Well, same old car. One of them is sadly gone. We had our last race with the Ford Mustang out of there, so it's just the MX-5s out here in the Classic Sprint Series here at Road Atlanta to start off Season 18. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by Merrick McLeod with Alex Simpson and Dennis Branch in the commentary booth and production booth as well. Larry, new year, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm so glad to be back here for 2021 for a full season of the Ricmotech series. We're going to start things out with Classic Sprint. And as you mentioned, sadly gone are the Mustangs, but we have got Miatas, MX-5s. We've got the whole slew here. We've got about 32 of them lined up tonight. And we've got nothing better than Road Atlanta and Miatas. It doesn't get any better than this.
It certainly does. Road Atlanta, a very technical track, very tricky and everything. And Road Atlanta is just such a wonderful place to go around racing, no matter what car.
Oh, absolutely. It's just got a bit of everything. It's technical. It's got straightaways. It's got that draft. And it's going to be tough for the leaders to break away. It's going to create a lot of drama going down the S's. And it's going to come down to the end. It's going to get down to some strategy. And it's always exciting here at Road Atlanta. And we've got some talent on display. We'll get to in a little bit and talk about that. But I'm excited. I'm excited about this whole season because our defending champ, Elvis Rankin, is back to defend. And he's got some challengers on his heels looking to chip away at him. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
It is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And for those who are not used to Road Atlanta, we do have a track guide ready for y'all right now. So let's go on board of Road Atlanta.
Welcome, everyone, to beautiful Road Atlanta, located here in Braselton, Georgia. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 2.5-mile road course. Opened in 1970, this course has challenged the best over the years and is certainly one of the most recognized courses in the U.S. Well, let's get started here as we head up the front straightaway and get up through the gears. We'll cross the start-finish line and head down into this very fast, challenging corner of Turn 1 as we'll enter the corner in fourth gear here. We'll lift just to get that car to rotate and drop right to the bottom of the apex and right back to throttle. We're going to climb the hill into the blind entry of turns 2, 3, and 4 here. We'll swing back left, let that car rotate to the bottom, take a little bit of curb, and then back to the left here through 3, and then down through 4 and into the S's at Road Atlanta. Very fast section here. Very famous section, these downhill S's. Get a nice run out of 5 to climb the hill here and head towards turns 6 and 7 at the far end of the course. Little short shoot here. You'll see some overtaking in these spots coming down into 6. Here we go, into 7, down into second gear. We'll get that early rotation, come right back to throttle, let that car track out wide so we can get a nice launch up onto this long straightaway here and carry that speed. Two interesting corners here. That's turn 8, that very slight left, and then we'll head down into turn 9, which is a very slight right on this, what's known as the longest straightaway here at Road Atlanta. As you can see, a lot of overtaking takes place here coming down into turns 10A and B. Down through the gears here, we'll get into third gear. We'll come off the clutch, let that car rotate to the center, do the same here through 10B, and then ultimately climb the hill through turn 11 here under the bridge, back up into fourth gear as we head down the hill to the start finish line out at 12. Very fast entry onto that front straightaway. There you go. There's your track guide for Road Atlanta. Thank you for being with us.
And welcome back live here at Road Atlanta for the Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. After that wonderful lap around Road Atlanta, that's what we're going to be seeing here very soon as qualifying is about to begin as the drivers are still in their race briefing, and I believe we just switched over into qualifying.
Yeah, and so as we've had always here in the Ricmotech series, it is lone qualifying, one car at a time, about 15 minutes, 4 laps, and this kind of track should be able to get their 4 laps in. And so this is kind of a track and kind of laps where you can get into that rhythm. You know, you want to go out there and kind of lay one down. There are places where you can get those wonderful 1Xs, and coming out of turn 5, sometimes you can hang a tire off a little bit. Sometimes even cutting the corners there at the final chicane. You can cut the corners a little bit, so you got to be careful of those. But you get 4 shots at it, so it's not the end of the world if you do. But it'll be interesting to see right up to the end here. If anybody goes out, does a flyer, doesn't like the setup, comes in, makes a setup change, it goes out and runs a second flyer toward the end of the session. We've seen that work at some of the other tracks. We'll see if that strategy comes through here as well in this track here at Road Atlanta.
Indeed, it's going to be very interesting to see if any of these off tracks that are so easy to get. I saw a few of the drivers getting a little bit relaxed with the track limits over in the practice. We'll see if that mentality carries over just a little bit. But I feel like it's going to be very straightforward with this qualifying session. But according to the practice times, non-draft assisted, they're going to be very tight.
Yeah, absolutely. The draft will definitely come into play as the race goes on. In fact, what we'll probably see is in a draft track like this, when it comes to the race, is we're going to see a lot of that breakaway pack. You'll see the top 4 or 5 breakaway, and then you'll see a fight for that 6th through 10th spot. And so the trick is, if you can qualify in that top 5 and stay there to the first part of the race, you can have a shot at the end. If you're qualifying 6th through 10th, you're working hard in the first lap to get into that top 5 so you can be there at the end. If you find yourself out of the top 10, and by lap 2 you're there, you're fighting only for probably that 6th to 10th spot come the end of the race. So it's going to be that fight for see if you can make it to that breakaway pack as that breaks out there about that lap 2 or lap 3.
Indeed, and I feel like those groups are going to be very important throughout this race. They're going to be holding that draft along that long back straightaway, and it's going to be a bit difficult, but those opening sectors are going to be the ones to watch out for.
Oh, yeah, you definitely have to watch. It's where the separation happens, is where things start to bunch up. You come up the hill to turn 1, and then as you come across that crest at 3, it's really critical to hit the curbing just right. In this car, you can use a lot of curbs, and so it really separates the pack when the right cars hit that curbing, and all of a sudden someone in the middle pack doesn't, and it bunches everyone up behind them, and that creates those separation. That's where you'll see those top 5 will hit it just right. Suddenly somebody won't. So you'll see someone like an Elvis Rankin will do it perfectly. You'll see a Mike Dam will get it. You'll see Robert Hartley will get it. And all of a sudden, can the next group of guys stay with them, and how long can they stay with them? And does it cause chaos behind, where potentially he causes even a yellow flag, like we've seen, or a full course caution, or does it just create separation where the pack gets away?
And you mentioned the safety car right here. A full course yellow is possible here. We have seen some incidents where the track has been completely blocked going down the S's after unfortunate incidents, and lap 1 has a big chance for that to actually happen.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple of times. In these kind of cars, the way things bottleneck entering those S's, going through turn 3, and things are even coming down the hill, as we're seeing going down toward the chicane here, crazy things can happen. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Those times start to trickle in. No surprise, first lap in the books was Elvis Rankin with a 35.7, but I suspect the next time through he's probably going to improve on that.
Yeah, Rankin, Schwenke, Huron, Rothe, and McGrew are top 5. And Mitchell Peak taking the top spot for our second class tonight. And then that's the ST Open class that Mitchell Peak is in, and then the ST Pro class is the Black Mirrors, and then the ST Open class is the Red Mirrors. So for those who are wondering why we got 2 different times in 2 different places on the tower, that's just the ST Pros and ST Opens.
So looking back at
it's all
last
open
season,
setup, I must say.
It is. And looking back at last season in the ST Pro, of course, Elvis Rankin was our defending champ, and we're going to hear about a lot from him, I think, in this season. The ST Open champ, if I recall, was I think that was Greg Mack in the ST Open class. So he's actually moved up to the Pro class in this season here, in season 18.
Yep, when you do well in one season, you're gonna have to get promoted.
Gotta step it up.
Especially if it's in the lower division, as some might say. That's kind of how developmental stuff works. Just looking at Elvis getting very wild right here. So we're going to go side by side with Elvis on board and then through the cameras using all of that extended curve right there here in that wild first two sectors here at Road Atlanta. And I can tell you that section of the track feels absolutely fine when you go through there perfectly.
Oh yeah, there's such a rhythm to it if you nail it just right. He's on a bit of a heater right now as he's continuing to set purple sectors as the tires really start to build heat in this car. Out there right now on his third flyer.
Yeah, third flyer currently 4/10 faster than Mike Dam in second place. Elvis Reckon looking to put the field on notice again, saying, I'm the champion for a reason. I'm going to let you know it.
Yeah, you just watch him cutting those curbs with such precision through those chicanes. It's just wonderful to see that the control, it looks so easy, and that's how you can tell a driver's got such control of their car. They make it look easy.
Making it look easy, and boom, shakalaka once more. 135.2 for Elvis Rankin.
Now, in the practice session, he was in the 34s. He was only driving to crack into the 34s, 34.9. Now, of course, he may have had a little draft there, but still the only one to get down into that range. No one else, I think, had gotten faster than like a 35.2 or 35.3. So he's already putting everyone else down from where they were just in their practice. He's done that in 3 laps. So
Robert Hartley got a little bit loose coming out of that turn. Saw him dip a wheel into the grass right there, and little hairy coming out onto that side straight. He's currently sitting in 4th place.
Still waiting to see John Allen put his first time in the books.
Yeah, a few of the drivers waited a little bit or had their times invalidated. John Allen
may have been one of those.
First time out. He said he already had the lap down in the books, but I believe he did get an off track over there, so that negated his time.
Yeah, as I think he just finished that first flyer with no official time there, so that one must have been a 1X somewhere. And again, that happens here. But again, with as long as you don't put yourself too far behind it, you can come back and lay another one down. Plenty of time here with only 1.5 minutes per lap. You can definitely get them in. Now that again may have picked up another 1X there as you see him exiting turn 5 there. Pretty wide. I don't know if that's going to be an off course or not.
From my experience running in the SimLabs official series, you can go out there without picking up a 1X. Just not all 4 wheels off into the dirt.
Yeah. I would expect to see him probably up in the top 5 once he gets a clean one in. He should be right up there with Hartley and Dam once he gets a lap down. Doesn't want to put himself down here in the bottom part of the field at the first race of the season.
Now I must ask you, Larry, what is your favorite corner here at Road Atlanta?
I like turn 1. I love a fast entry elevation change type corner. In all of racing, that's always my favorite types. Even the downhill here in the final corner, but I especially like turn 1 because it's a little bit blind. You're coming at it with speed, and you've just got to time the entry just right. And if you hit it, there's a groove to it, and if you miss it, you're off in the field on track left. And I just love that feeling.
On-edge racing is always fun, especially when you're just watching 40 cars just do it over and over again, especially in the Road Atlanta endurance events. My favorite has to be that hard braking zone in front of that chicane before the hill. It's just the best opportunity for an overtake, and it just feels so well when you can nail that chicane together.
That's a good spot. If you hit it just right, as you get your experience with this track and you realize how hard you can cut the first half of that chicane, and if you do it right, you can really open up the second part of it and get yourself that run up the final hill and then down to the finish turn. There's a lot of payoff to that, so there's definitely that. Road Atlanta is not one of my, people are going to hate me for this, not one of my favorite overall tracks. I do, like I said, I like turn 1. I like, the finish section. Not a big fan of the turn 3 into the S's. I think there's better corners out there, but it's still all in all not a bad track. But I think that all in all, it's a great racing track because of sections like once you come out of those S's and you come down through the double right-handers through turns 6 and 7, makes for great racing. And it is a long enough straightaway through that back straight to allow for a lot of passing, and it makes some great side-by-side coming down through the finish straight too as well. So I like watching races here. It's a blast.
The great racing is what we're going to see here in a little bit as everyone's qualifying laps are going in right now. John Allen currently sits in second place, 2/10 behind Elvis Ricmotech, and as soon as I said that, he's gone off track. And he was looking quick, too. Robert Hartley currently sitting in third place. Comes across the line, improves his time, but not his position.
Yeah, but at this track, all you really want to do in this kind of an hour-long type endurance type race, you just want to be starting in that top 4 or 5 and not get stuck in, like as I mentioned earlier, you don't want to get stuck in that second pack. You don't want to be fighting through 4 rows of cars to get up and stay with the top 2 or 3 cars. So if you are, you're John Allen, you're Robert Hartley, you're Mike Dam, you're in the position that you want to be in. You're in that top 4 of those front 2 rows, as long as you get yourself a good start. If you are Clint Vigas, Travis Schwenke, you're on the bubble there. If you're Greg Mack and Mitchell Peak and even Zach Burke, you're in that area where you want to try and snag one of those top 4 or 5 spots as the race opens up on the first couple of corners. And that's going to be tough because it's the race around 1 up the hill into turns 2 and then ultimately at turn 3 and crossing that curbing. It's going to be an interesting fight for the first 5 positions on the first lap.
Yeah, the first 5 is probably where you want to be, the safest part of the track, unless an absolute send goes wrong heading into turn 3. It's a very sharp corner right there. And I've seen some very unfortunate incidents of somebody just cutting that hump, cutting that curb, and upsetting the car and spinning around the track and causing absolute chaos behind them. And I gotta say, 5 back is going to be a little bit of a shopping mall parking lot. Everyone's gonna have to check up, watch themselves, watch their surroundings to make sure that everyone gets there cleanly, because we got 32 cars on track. Everyone's starting with everyone else. This is not a separated endurance race where classes go at each time. We don't have that anymore. It's just one giant field, 32 cars into the S's at the same time. I must say,
yeah. And I've seen a race here with, we did about 50 or 60 Miatas here, and I can tell you the train that goes into turn 3 is astounding, and all it takes is for one car to get it wrong, and the pile up is just incredibly big. So what you're hoping for is that by the time they come around 1 and they approach that turn 3 section, that they've started to go single file and that no one's still trying to hunt and go side by side through turn 3, because it just never works here. So let's see what kind of discipline we've got. We're looking at Tony Kernan to see if the Kernan and Peak and Greg Mack and Jeff Jacobs, if that group is single file by the time they come up the hill.
Well, we're going to find out very soon. Only 40 seconds remain here at Road Atlanta for the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics here on Apex Racing TV. As we're looking at Mike Dam getting a little bit of lawn trimmings on that car. Very beautiful new paints this season.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of updated paints. It's always good to see some improvements each season as things go along.
Also, some funny stories about Road Atlanta from my old driving coach for when he drives the pace car here on the pace laps. He does not like the final corner here. Does not like it. Preferably because he's going from 120 miles an hour and then standing that thing on its nose in the club layout.
Yeah, it could be a little bit intimidating, I'm sure.
Well, here is our race qualifying results. Starting up on pole, it's Elvis Rankin, followed by John Allen, Robert Hartley, Mike Dam, Clint Vigas, Travis Schwenke, Zach Burke, Tony Kernan, Mitchell Peak, Greg Mack, Jeff Jacobs, Randall McGrew in 12th place, followed by Jordy Fike, Brendan Huron, Tyler Shiflett, Tom Ratheth, Joshua Soto, David Payton, Gortzian in 19th, followed by Mike Taylor, Jeffrey Cranston, Greg Brockway, Chris Thorman, Eric Chrysler in 24th, followed by Edgar Sanchinelli, Daniel McNulty, Michael Key, Derek Holland, Nicholas Parchino, followed by Stephen Brown, Robert Burst, and Patrick Privanis in 32nd place at the end of this grid.
Well, this will be an interesting group like we've been talking about. It's about this start, about how clean things can be and how patient everyone can be going up the hill for the first time.
It is 16 rows of cars. They're going to go single file so everyone makes it through safely. They're going to be letting the pace car go a little bit, not have everyone panic, and then the start zone is just right as the pit lane starts, they can go. It's right on that downhill, so that final corner is going to get very wild here today, and it's going to provide a very exciting race in a turn one.
It definitely will, and you know, with young man Elvis on the pole there, he's going to be able to control this field to his pace. He's going to have to look on his outside to see if John Allen can get a run on him and try to take the lead going through one, or if Allen decides to just take the conservative line and stick in behind him and protect his position to avoid getting the run from what will easily be pressure coming from behind, because there'll be a lot of hungry drivers like we've been talking about here during qualifying. You want to be in those top five when when you come in across the stripe and come up turn one towards turn three. But here in the Classic Sprint Series, we've been talking about this is all Miatas, and the car that is no longer part of this series has been the Mustang. And what's on the what do we have as our pace car tonight? It's a Mustang. So we still get to see a Mustang tonight.
Yep, the Mustang might be gone on track, but it's not going to be forgotten in this beautiful iRacing Mustang pace car. And I got to say, never get rid of it.
Be here forever.
Now, the Corvette C8R pace car, I still want to see. As the race control gives everybody orders to stay single file and go at a regular pace and not panic, you have a massively long back stretch to get everybody together, so there's no need for side-by-side bunched up eagerness, tire weaving, heavy breathing moments on this pace lap. You got a lot of time to get your mind in the right place and then form up on that back straight.
Exactly. Plenty of time to get things together before they come down the hill and around that start straight for the first time and see that green flag.
Yeah, that green flag will be waved tonight, and it's going to start off a brand new year and a brand new season here in the Classic Sprint Series. And we're going to be starting seeing everybody to pack up and pair up right now.
Of course, a big shout out to Kevin Ford, who's not racing tonight, but of course always working hard behind the scenes, and I'm sure we'll see him in one of the other Ricmotech series later on this month. But tonight he's, I believe, playing steward and making sure this goes off without a hitch tonight. So, hey, Kevin, thanks for all the prep work. We appreciate it and hope you're enjoying the show.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's Kevin Ford talking in the race marshal position radio. It seems like our normal race marshal is here, but as we see this giant field of MX-5s approaching, it's gonna get absolutely crazy here. So we're going to go 2x2, double screen in the production and double filed here on track. It's been a little bit of an off season, but it's a new year, and we're getting here ready to go here in the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics, as we're going green flag here in 2021.
Elvis gets a clean start, and Allen does tuck in behind him. Well, you got Hartley, who just wants to make sure he protects his line, but behind him, we talked about it. Here they go, side by side. Can they get this cleaned out before they get to turn 3? 3 wide is not clean, but they're starting to funnel down. Can they be there before we get to turn 3? And who can get through without getting a break in this pack or without parking it sideways?
Everyone's making it through their single file. A little bit of some off tracks happening right there, but it's just more like dipping a wheel on the tires, making sure that you give everybody a little bit of room, but everyone's made it through there cleanly right now.
Yeah, good clean start so far. Everyone knows it's a long race. Nice and conservative start. Good to see.
Yeah, everybody did just make it through there cleanly.
Let's not ruin it with the commentator curse. So let's see see where this break happens. As we've been talking about, typically it's in that 5-car break. Can be as big as about 7. Hard to hold it together for that long. But right now, Hartley and Allen are going to chase down Rankin with this draft. See how close they get. We'll kind of judge and see how much pressure can they put on Elvis Rankin going the first time into the chicane.
It's Mitchell Peak going side by side with Kernan. They're side by side. Actually, that is Burke ahead of him. Peak looking down to the inside once more, getting a little bit late on the brakes. They head into the chicane. And it's a great way to start off the first season. Oh, very wide and into the grass. It's coming across the track, giving a big block right there, inadvertent block right there on Tony Kernan. But they continue on, but there is our break.
There's your break, and it's already down to 7 cars at the front. And it's almost a 5-car break. There's a slight gap already happening behind the 5th place, Travis Schwenke, just a little bit.
Man, you predicted that wonderfully. Can you pick my lottery numbers?
I've seen enough of these Miata races, enough of them here at this track to know it's tough. Schwenke might be able to, the Vikings might be able to stick behind him, but he's got to be near inch perfect for this lap to do it, to stay into that draft. The further behind that draft you get, the harder it is. You lose the benefit of it when you get to be 7, 8 tenths back, because the guy in front of you is 3 tenths off the tail of the car he's chasing, and he's got a great draft. So it looks like he's in it, but if you're at the tail of this, and I think the tail of this would be that Zach Burke.
It would be Zach Burke in 7th place. The fight for 8th place right now is absolutely insane between Kernan and Peak overall. They're going side by side. That's where the group is. And these top 7, they know what they need to do. They're all lined up. They're slipstreaming and they're pulling off a draft train, and they're heading all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, all the way to South Florida with this.
They're full on Mazdapede, as we call it. They're just going to stay in line and keep doing this until either someone makes a mistake or until we get to the pit stops.
Indeed, and right behind him is, well, I like to call absolute carnage mode. Clean carnage, but it's like Global Mazda in the real life series. These guys are 2x2, heading out the final corner, as that's Mitchell Peak getting the lead of this group in 8th place overall. And here comes Kernan looking down the inside. Kernan believes he can have that right there. They're nose to tail heading into wild turn 1. There's Greg Mack as well in that pack. He's got McGrew on his tail. A little bit of a rallycross jump right there as he hits that curve. That is just awesome to see.
Oh yeah, these guys are already thinking this is a 3-lap race. Let's just go for it. Oh, a little sideways on the way in, and a little sideways on the way out.
Yeah, Peak getting very loose, and Peak almost reached the peak of his tire grip levels. He's fallen all the way down to 10th place overall, and almost 11th place overall. That's McGrew on his inside.
Wow, yeah, well, again, you want to hit the corner exits and stay with the draft. It's going to be hard to get out of it, but this pack is big enough. Just kind of get yourself back in and figure it out at the next corner. That's all you got to do.
I gotta say, I love McGrew's paint scheme.
Peak's going to push. He's going to pop out and try and make a pass and pick up a spot. Yes, he does.
He's looking for it. He's side by side with him. He is poised for it. Is he going to pull the over-under with him? He's hard braking. He's giving him the space. And here comes the switchback from Mitchell Peak. Still side by side, but now he's got the inside for the last corner.
That's great stuff. Look at him. He's going to hold that inside or side by side still. Oh,
wow.
That's great stuff. Yeah, if you're going side by side through 12 at Road Atlanta, yeah, you came fully prepared. You packed your bags tonight. You did not leave your toiletries at home. I'll tell you that.
Packed his bag, did his homework, and made sure he had all reservations done. And well, he's going to be very happy today.
But out in front, though, speaking of like, he might be checking out. I mean, look at this guy. He's 6/10 up on a field in a draft class, in a draft track. I mean, I'm just looking at this going, John Allen is trying to stick with Elvis Rankin, and everyone behind him's like, all right, John, let's keep going, let's stay in line and do our thing. And Allen's like, I'm trying, Elvis has pace.
It reminds me of a story of Lance Armstrong where he first made his debut before all the craziness happened. We got a spin in the background. No other cars involved there, but when he... Oh, as I spoke to Sue right there, almost spinning back on track. That's Jeffrey Cranston. But Lance Armstrong, when he was first trying out for the U.S. men's team, when he was about 15 years old, just broke away from the rest of the field. And everyone was like, who is this guy? And everyone just goes, that's Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Yeah, well, in this case, it's who's this Rankin kid? Like, well, if you don't know him already, you will.
You're going to.
Yeah. Yeah, you just can't make a mistake. John Jason
Cranston saying that he was tapped in that final corner. So we might get a replay of that soon.
And when we're waiting for the replay in a second, it looks like it may even be under review.
From what I saw, I didn't see any tapper there, but we're going to find out. We're looking at that replay on the right-hand screen. Oh, there was a tap.
May have had a little bit of help. May have had some help there from Chris Thorman, I think, is the number 6.
The second spin's on him. Glad nobody was involved in that one, but
yeah,
it's a very common place to lose the back end.
Sure is. Yeah, you're trying to chuck the car in hard to cut that curbing hard and get the car rotated to get on the gas early. So that does happen. And everyone's trying to brake late a little bit there, and so it does happen. Still, he had a little bit of help going around.
We're back to our leaders in this 7-car pack.
This Mazda P, no one wants to pop out and ruin this. They all just want to stay in line. But this group, however, they have no problem popping out. They're like, heck, we're not catching that front group. Let's just try to lead the second pack.
Well, they're going to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide for a little bit, getting very tight in the braking zone. Greg Mack leading this group ahead of Kernan, Peak, McGrew, and Feike right behind him. And Kernan is finding the most narrowest of edges to get his car into there, but there's McGrew down the inside trying to get ahead of Peak. Peak almost gets inched off of the grass right here, and now we got a separated pack right now, and the secondary pack is well, I say the secondary pack is where all the TV ratings are.
Yeah, these guys definitely had their extra double shot of Red Bull here before they took this race, because these guys are all action and no patience right now, and it's great to watch. I love it.
Oh no, Tyler Shiflett is in the wall.
My guess, he took a little bit too much curb there at turn 3 at that apex. Considering where he ended up, that's telltale sign of a little bit too much curb.
There was also a sorry about that on the radio, so he might have been helped, or he might have was held down the inside and took a too much curb, and that incident is under review.
Busy night for our friend the steward.
Being a race steward is never easy. When you feel like we're in for a good race here today, everything happens. At the same time, too, so you can never keep up with anything. So we're looking at this battle for a 9th place overall. Randall McGrew holding on the outside line. Then look at the send down the inside by Kernan.
He got the momentum, too, on the way out. Impressive.
What a move.
We do have some penalties being handed out. Looks like Tom Rathje is going to be getting himself a penalty, a drive-through for his incident there. Contact there with Tyler Shiflett.
looks like we have a small incident in the S's as McGrew is falling down the field. Oh, there's McGrew. How'd he get back there?
Doesn't take long, though, once you get out of the sequence here to drop back very quickly when you're running in a train like this.
Yeah, the Mazda Pete, as you like to say, a very finely tuned beast. And when that beast gets out of sync, it turns less from a Mazda Pete to, well, zoom.
Oh, yeah, you get zoomed right on by, and next thing you know, you're at the tail end of that snake and not at the head where you want to be.
And anyone who is nostalgia of old car sayings, Zoom being Mazda's saying in the early 2000s?
Something like that, yeah. Maybe even earlier, yeah. They still know Zoom.
Yeah, I still know Zoom.
Sure. It's just, this just never stops these guys. It is swapping positions at every lap, but this pack of 4 from the subset here is kind of breaking away, and they're still going side by side down the front straight into turn 1.
Now Mitchell Pig down the inside on Greg Mack, and I can tell you these two are, well, they're fighting for the lead of the SD Open class, according to our timing tower. And we go back to the Mazda Pede up front. Well, I gotta say, these guys are zoom forever, which is the current slogan of Mazda.
And like nothing is changing. And these guys are just lap after lap, not stepping out, not doing anything. It's just amazing that they're just going to stay in line and continue to do this over and over again.
Head down, stick with the plan. Maybe give a bit of bump drafting as
I say it.
Here comes Alan challenging the system. He's getting tired of Elvis Reagan. He was going for the lead. The 101 into first place ahead of the 1. John D. Allen, our new leader here in the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series.
Just as we were saying it, no one's going to do anything. I'm going to stay in line and, play the script. John Allen says, I'm going to tear that script up and going to get run over by a Mazda here. But John Allen says it's time to shake this up a bit,
Oh, here
boys.
comes Hartley. Everyone's, well, when somebody does it, everyone's going to try it. Says, he just overtook Elvis Reagan. I'm going to try to go for it too. And Robert Hartley overtakes his teammate for second place. I'm going to say we're going to start seeing the fist fly here very soon.
Yep. Well, let's just see how this shakes things up. See what their pace is like. So with the Elvis up front, they were turning, the mid-35s, 35.6, 35 to 36, somewhere around there. 35.5 to 35.7s. Let's see what kind of pace they're running with John Allen out in front. See if he can get that same run off of this corner right here, because Elvis had that corner down every time.
Well, it was a bad exit for Allen. Got onto the grass. You might see a swap from Hartley in front of Allen, because Hartley is right there with Allen right now. Here comes Hartley looking for that Team Orion race lead, and everyone's going to follow with him.
He's going to get rushed because he didn't get that run off of 7.
Getting the run off is very good, but he's going to get the run into the braking zone. He's going to stay in second spot, and he's going to create a gap to Hartley as he's fighting with Rankin. He does not want Rankin past him at all. And look at that
Hartley.
Gap. That 1 second gap is just formed from 2 corners.
Yeah, but with a Centipede or a Mazda Pede behind him, Hartley might have a full second to the field here. I don't suspect that'll last very long. He might be able to hold this for a couple of laps, but you're always faster in a pack than you are by yourself in these cars.
Well, if Rankin and Allen continue to fight with this, Hartley may be able to kick up his feet for a little bit and just relax a little bit and enjoy some of that beautiful Georgia scenery.
As long as he doesn't pick up any of that Georgia clay, he'll be just fine, huh?
Hey, I gotta say, I love some Georgia red clay. And peaches. Always gotta love some peaches.
You can't go to Georgia without one.
I know. My family actually owned a peach farm in Georgia earlier on in the year. And funny enough, that peach farm was used for the filming of the original Dukes of Hazzards.
Little known Austin facts. Who knew?
Not the movie, sadly. But the pilot episode, so yeah. Very little known night family facts.
So what we just saw right here was Hartley did not get a great run off of 7. Allen and Rankin did, and there went all that advantage in one lap.
It was advantage very momentarily, but it was very beautiful to see Allen and Rankin working together. They're actually starting to pull out a little bit of a gap to Mike Damon, and we might start seeing a 3-car breakaway if everyone keeps their head down.
What this also does gives everyone kind of a rotating chance to save a little bit of fuel.
Oh,
You know,
we got
which
3
before
cars,
Elvis was the
4
one
cars.
using. Oh, we've got
Four.
pit window is open.
Yeah, 4 cars into the pits immediately. Pete, Mac, Fike, and Horan.
The entire team.
Oh, yeah. Well, team tactics at work here, and what better way to stay with a Mazda speed is it's just everybody in the team just goes for it.
This is
Pulling
not.
Oh,
I was going to say,
wow.
side by side, and yes, this is not part of a team order, but it is fun.
Not team orders, but it sure brings a big smile on your face. And Jeff Jacobs is loving it. Jeff trying to hold it around the outside, has that bottom line just filled with cars. There's McGrew and Soto with him, and he's pretty much boxed in, but he's looking to get that draft from Soto, and I believe Soto's going to be starting to take bets of which car he wants to be in front of. But Jeff Jacobs gets that spot in there, and he's currently sitting in 10th overall.
It's packed, though. They got quite a run off of this last couple of corners.
And here comes Jeff for 9th place, and they're going to go 2x2 in the chicane.
Got the position, but he's not going to get a good run with this line. He's going to get pinched.
You can't switch to the over-under because there's McGrew right there.
Yeah.
And here comes Peyton. And, ooh, Soto into the pit lane. It almost comes across the nose of McGrew. And now we got a 3-car fight.
Well, looks like Rankin's gotten back around Allen.
Teammate Hartley still in the lead here as these top guys just cruising away on their own pace as everybody is trying alternate strategies. We've seen teammates go into the pits together like Toyota does in the Daytona 500. We've seen a few guys just try their own strategies. These are very early pit stops too.
That is pretty early, as we're still a little over 40 minutes remaining in the race, so expecting to be able to go 40 minutes on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, we're expecting a 38-lap race, and these guys hit 28 laps on a fuel tank. So the pit window does open at the end of lap 10, and
So
the latest second pit is lap 28, but it's that's a very odd ratio we're seeing. I'm thinking that if they can have their own little train of cars, they can gain enough time on their own and try to take up that time back when everybody else goes into the pit lane at the expected times. I think that's what they're getting at. And maybe some craziness happening on pit entry, like what is happening right here.
4 wide. Why not?
Yeah, 4 wide, come around the kink in the straight, 2x2 into the brake zones. Tyler Schifflin and Santinelli going side by side. Santinelli getting a little bit loose like cheese on butter. As, oh, he's going to lose 1, 2, and almost 3 spots right there as that's Rotheth on the outside. And Rotheth's off into the grass.
Going aggro.
Oh,
He saves it.
man.
Somehow manages to keep it back on the pavement without completely taking out the rest of the field.
Something I have not mastered yet, but he certainly has.
That's why you're in the commentator booth and not in the race car.
True. I'm also safer in here from flying tires, so we're fine.
Very true. Not bump drafting yet. Waiting for the bump. Full on kiss
Almost
cam.
there.
There was a, it was, I think, VIR, the SEC runoff spec Miata, a year and a half ago. There was a kiss cam video put together from the qualifying sessions, and it was all the front and rear cameras from the Miatas literally just touching constantly down the straightaways. You just kept seeing them constantly bump drafting, and it's a great thing to watch. And that's exactly what these guys are doing here, just touching, pushing each other down the straightaways.
There's Bert looking down the inside of Schwenke right there.
Oh, this will shake things up.
Yeah, just a little shake, not a full-on constant shake, but just a little nudge of awakeness.
You sit here in 6th or 7th, and you're watching the guys in 4th or 5th, and you see them make a 10th or 2 of a second mistake, and you get anxious. You say, if that were me, I wouldn't make the mistake. I want that position. If they make another one like that, we're going to lose the draft. And you just start getting anxious and more anxious. The anxiety builds up, and every time you see them make that mistake, you're ready to dive down the inside of them. And that might be what that was there from Burke, thinking, that's my spot if he does it again. So just keep your eye on Vegas and Burke to see if they take those spots, if Schwenke or even if Mike Dam make any kind of mistake.
Indeed. And honestly, when you see somebody in front of you make a mistake, either two things could happen. Either A, you're going to start backing off in case something goes wrong, or B, you're going to go for a move because the guy in front of you is going to back off, or you just see an opportunity to just send it.
Yeah, well, look at Clint Vigas now. He's in that desperation spot. He's almost a second back now from Burke. He's losing that draft, and he's in that spot where he's got to hit every mark to try and stay up there. He's going to be struggling.
Here comes Rankin on Hartley. Rankin got out of line, looked a little bit aggressive on Hartley. Here comes Allen on Rankin. Allen looks down the inside. They're side by side heading to turn 1. Rankin actually backs off to let Allen in there, but now they're going to go side by side for the lead. John Allen trying to overtake 2 cars at once. Down into turn 3 they go. Allen hops over the curb. Now they're side by side for second place. Hartley goes rallying over there onto the grass right there. Now there's Elvis Rankin up into second place.
Wow.
And none of them lost time from that.
Yeah, to go side by side through 3 like that, even catch the cone on the outside. I can't believe that a course cut wasn't issued there, because it looked like it was almost 4 on the inside of...
I think it was 4 tires off the inside.
It was really close. Yeah, just some tires hanging there. And again, the way iRacing does it, it's center line of the car to some mysterious edge or whatever it is. But it was so close to being a course cut on that left side of that curbing. But we race on, and it was beautiful to see. No car contact.
Yeah, very beautiful, no car contact, and if there was a penalty, remember, iRacing is a non-sentient being, so it doesn't care of your situation. You're getting an on-track, you're getting a slowdown. I don't care what happens at all.
So we got a replay here coming up. A little bit of...
Oh, that's grass, that's bad. Ooh.
Oh, that embankment of that bridge just does not move at all.
Unmovable object, and that's what happens when a very small Miata meets that unmovable object, engine go boom.
I'll tell you what, John Allen has definitely got his racy race on tonight. He definitely wants to be mixing it up, does not want to stay in the Mazda Pete for very long with this kind of stuff. He'd much rather just sort of chuck it in, and as long as he's in the top 3, he doesn't care. He just wants to keep chucking it around, and instead of staying in line is boring to him.
Yeah, and it's not boring at all, especially up at front, as we now have a six car. No, it is a 5-car gap. 6 and 7 are kind of off the back.
A little wide.
Loose right there.
He catches it.
And I think everyone's gone wide a little bit there. The only one who didn't go wide, I'm just going to throw a wild guess, Mike Dam. But back to the Mazdapede. You're here watching the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. We're going to go out for a little break right now, but we'll be right back very shortly. Welcome back to the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. The lead pack has picked up a lapped car and almost chaos has pulled off right there as these guys went 3 wide at 2 points and oh man, that was just wild to see. But they got back onto the back straight and normality has resumed, if you can call this front pack normal, as they're going to swing back 3 wide getting around that lapped car. There's Mike Dan getting a little bit out of line, looking for that inside line. But
there's nothing normal about this right now. Seeing them going side by side for half that lap, and all of a sudden, as you're watching Nick Parsono going, where do I go? How do I get out of these guys' way? He's trying.
They caught up to him in the S's, and just everything just could have gone wrong right there. But luckily, nothing did go wrong. Everyone communicated of where they wanted to go, and, well, they kept their head down, and they kept it smooth, and no one died.
No, but things have jostled up a little bit. As now you got Mike Dam has kind of gotten himself up ahead of Robert Hartley. There's been a bit of shuffling there. As Hartley at one point had been up into the lead, now down into 4th.
How many different leaders we've had so far in this race? 4?
I think it's been just the 3. I think it's been Hartley and Rankin and John Allen have each had their share at this so far. We're not even halfway.
Not even halfway at all. We still got 2 minutes to go halfway, and we still got a pit stop for these guys.
Oh, these guys better take their turns at pit stops. I don't know if my heart can take them all pitting at the same time. That would pretty much kill me. The whole pack comes in together. Oh my gosh.
I've seen giant packs come in together all the time in NASCAR, and I can tell you, I'm never used to those. I've seen those go horribly wrong with cars spinning around and crashing into each other. And look at this send down the inside at the back of this pack for 4th place. That's Berg down low. And he's working on Mike Dam right now. Berg was held up with hate. Was staying at the back of the pack. He wants to be at the front, and he's creating some chaos back there.
Oh, that is not good news there for Robert Hartley, who, like I was just saying a moment ago, at one point was leading this race, and now the gap from John Allen back to Mike Dam in this pack is over a second. Oh, and it's just got to be Hartley's got to be just angry right now, stuck in this guy with nowhere to go, watching Zach Burke and Mike Dam battling out in front of him. He wants to stay up there with John Allen and Elvis Rankin, and he just can't because this pack just separated themselves. Now they got to work to catch up, and Elvis and John Allen are a tough twosome to try and make up ground, but they're going to have to.
Indeed, and Allen and Rankin are probably looking behind them saying, where did that happen?
Yeah, all it takes, one side-by-side coming out of the 10A and 10B chicane there, and that's all it takes is to make this kind of gap. The gap's right at 1 second. A good draft and a good lead follow coming off turn 7 here could close this up if they play nice. Maybe one swap of positions, they could close this back up again.
And speaking of pit stops, this might be good for pit stops. Everyone a little bit spread out now. It's a bit safer to go into the pit stops. Nobody's bumper to bumper with each other, because if you go bumper to bumper into this pit stop, bad things can happen, especially if somebody has a bad exit.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Robert Hartley right now, if I can't get room and get around Zach Burke right now, I might be in the pits this lap.
Well, there's a lot of cars into the pits, so he would be welcome in there, and it wouldn't be an odd time, so we're going to find out right now as the leaders come over that hill. Anyone going to take that pit lane? Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I feel like all the Orion guys are going to be coming in at exactly the same time. They're going to try to pull off what the Esports Racer crew is doing.
Yeah, and try and synchronize their stops.
Indeed, and
I've done that running the Spec Ford series. We did that at Road America, which is clearly a very much like a draft track in one of the most heavily draft type cars, where we end up pitting about 5 cars at a time in a pack. We had 3rd through 7th. We're trying to chase down the top 2, very much like what you're trying to see here. We all pit together and to try and synchronize everyone's fuel loads and to get out of there. I think 4 out of the 5 of us made it out together to try and work to chase down. It's a very difficult maneuver to pull off, I'll tell you that.
And speaking of difficult, a lap car just came out of the pit lane in front of the leaders, and well, that pack up front is completely separated now.
Well, see what they've got. It's not completely insurmountable, but you've just got now huge gaps. About a second, about 8/10, I guess, between Allen to Mike Dam, and then another 1.2, 1.3, then back to Zach Burke. And this is that time, if you're one of these guys, it's time to get in the pits, get your stop done, and see where it lands on the other side.
66 is the lap car that, well, broke these guys up, and we got no opportunities for the kiss cam down on this back straight right now. So they come up over the hill, and Allen is the first one to go into the pit lane.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting because he actually had the dancing partner with Elvis Rankin. You would have thought he would want to hold on to that as long as he could. So this is an interesting strategy to separate himself from Elvis.
Yeah, but Allen, I don't think he had a dancing partner teammate-wise to go in with him.
No, but sometimes you as they say, you kind of you dance with the one you got. You know, in this case, if you can play with the man who's clearly has been the defending champ and one of the fastest drivers on the track, if you can stay with him and turn fast laps, and it's just the 2 of you, so working through traffic is easier than working in a pack of 5, it gives you the best chance to turn quick laps and just get through the field. Separating yourself throws a bit of a wild card that you're hoping you come out on the other side in a cleaner situation than Elvis Rankin does.
As we're looking at our Esports Racer group, led by Jordy Feig, Greg Mack in there, and Huron.
And this is the group that did pit together.
Yeah, pit together and pitted early, right as the opportunity opened up for them. And all of them in team-oriented paint schemes. Love it when teams use different roll bar colors for each other.
That helps at least.
And there's one of the DTD cars exiting right into the back of this pack.
It took a while to figure out how to paint the roll bars in my paint scheme on my MX-5.
There's a little square.
Yeah.
And Mike Dam and Zach Burke going into the pit lane after that. And now Elvis Rankin, well, you say where it takes 2 to tango. Well, he's all left alone, and he's going to have to tango on his own.
Yeah, and this will be interesting to see what kind of pace he can turn on his own. We know he can, if anybody can turn fast pace by themselves, it's Elvis.
Elvis has the pace of 2 cars drafting, let's just say that.
But Hartley can do the same, and now that they're on, 35-minute tires, we'll see which one can get their corner exits and use the draft of whatever lap cars they come across now that we've got a fairly well spread out track and spread out field.
With a pack of these cars right now. Everybody calculated move, looking down to the inside, decided that they didn't want to swap paces, and I can tell you with these team drivers, all these guys are in the same call right now saying, we should do this, we should do this. Red leader, you leave. Gold leader, this is Rebel 1.
Stay on target.
Stay on target. going to stop with the Star Wars references because I've just been binge watching that in the off season.
Good shot at Greg Brockway there, beating down the S's.
And here's Robert Hartley leading the front, leading
left
pack
of the back,
second to third, as Elvis Rankin stays out there on his own. So we lead into 35 of 60 minutes.
Yeah, looking at lap times, 36.1 for Hartley, 35.9 for Rankin. So again, Elvis by himself, earning times about a couple of tenths quicker than Hartley and these guys here. So that's the risk, and this is where I worry about John Allen's strategy. Can he be turning 35.9s when he comes on the other side of his pit stop? Because that's what he needs to be doing. Otherwise, the overcut's going to work really well for Elvis Rankin.
Yeah, the overcut definitely going to be looking fairly good right now. So we're going to look at our first cars.
Allen just did a 35.7 on the other side of his pit stop. So let's see if he can do a couple of those.
Allen's currently got the lead. Second car in position out of cars that got into the pits as Travis Schwenke goes way off into that red clay right there. Almost heading out to the boondocks on the other side of that fence.
Yeah, I'm looking at Allen.
Yeah, he's got Mike Dam with him. Mike Dam went in on lap 21, and he's got Zach Burke, who also went in on lap 21. So they're in a little bit of a draft help pack right there. And if they can continue this pace that they're going on, they might catch Elvis Rankin, who is currently dancing with himself. Whoa.
Little Billy Idol reference. Nice.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right. So, yeah, if he can stay in this, and this is what he was hoping for, was to come out on the other side with some sort of draft partner. It looks like he's found one. This was the best he could hope for. So this will be interesting then when Elvis Rankin takes his stop. 39-second gap right now.
Well, it looks like Elvis is just going to continue until that tank is dry right now. He feels good. He's putting down amazing times, and who can blame him? 35.9 all on your own?
Sure. 35.9, run the tank dry, get the lightest car possible. It's not a bad strategy.
Oh, Holland.
This is a bit of a slowdown penalty coming.
Where you want to be.
He'll give up the position, and he'll be fine. And probably head to the pits. Tail between
That's
knees.
how you go into the pit lane. As, oh my goodness, the back three, second through fourth are, well, Hartley went off there, Schwenke went off there, Clinton Vigus went off right there. That's not how you set 135s, and that's not how you catch Elvis Rankin. Brockway letting by, and there's Elvis Rankin. I'm pretty sure he hasn't had a single touch of Georgia red clay on his own.
Not really.
And so right
he's
there.
just using the apex, but it certainly has been by design if he hasn't.
And here comes Elvis.
Yep. So let's keep our eye on the gap. Where is John Allen in that number 101?
Oh, the entire top four went into the pits that time. And let's go to John Allen.
Back straight. He's
bring
pushing.
up the kiss cam because he's bump drafting right now with Mike Dam.
They're through the kink, getting down towards the chicane here at turn 10A and B. They're doing this together.
They've got to their boxes.
Oh, he's taking tires. This is interesting.
John Allen looking on pace. About 8 seconds left in their stop. Here goes Elvis. It's going to be a bit slow coming out of it. There's Elvis at the pit exit. And
they got about a lot.
Allen does not get ahead of Rankin, but he's got ahead of that second group.
Okay.
And new leader, fourth leader of the race, Randall McGrew.
Yes.
But Elvis Rankin, well, he's no longer dancing with himself right now because he's got Mike Dam and John Allen behind him, but not closely behind him, and he's still got to warm up his tires.
And they are close enough where they'll be in the draft train here.
Elvis actually had a little bit off track, and Elvis is off track again.
Nope.
And now that front group is made up again. Elvis Rankin, Mike Dam, and John Allen, one of these three are going to come home with a W.
Michael Key's got them in his mirrors. He's going to be moving aside here in a second as those leaders come roaring through and they come out of the chicane at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, and here comes Mike Dam down the inside, very squirrely on the brakes, and Dam slots himself up there. Very offline mid-corner. Elvis Rankin trying to go for the over-under, but Mike Dam's going to lead out this group as they continue on their lap 26, as McGrew is staying out as long as he can.
Who I think is just coming into that chicane now.
Yeah, McGrew is just at the top of the S's as Rankin and Dam side by side, and here comes John Allen. And Allen is just like, come on, guys, we're going to start this again. Well, it's after the pit stop. All the gloves are off. All the courtesies and everything, everyone playing it safe is off right now. When it's to the end of the race, everyone's got their last pit stop out of the way. 20 minutes ago, sure, throw a haymaker at each other. And Elvis Rankin gets airborne.
Burke and Schwenke and Hartley are saying, you guys go ahead and fight up there. You keep doing that. We're good. We can almost see you.
We can almost see it, and if somebody gets a little bit more airborne, picks up a little bit of damage, we'll like that too.
You start seeing a lot of the undersides of these Miatas as they come off of these curbs, putting these things up like bicycles.
Yeah, luckily these cars do not feature floor damage models unlike the LMP cars. Here comes Elvis Rankin down the inside. And Allen, where are you?
He's there.
He's backed off completely.
He heard you.
But he's got back. Okay, welcome back, Allen.
He's back in the mix. We didn't lose him entirely.
Okay, that's good. And there's McGrew into the pit lane, and
we'll give the
not
lead
going to
back.
take the lead not going to take the lead back across the line. So McGrew's going to technically lead that lap.
Elvis Rankin now your leader.
But Elvis Rankin now your leader. I'm not going to count the lead changes because that's just going to be absolutely crazy. But 4 different leaders today.
Yeah, that's really great to see as well. There definitely is parity in this series, and this is just the first race of the season.
And that's just gotta bring a big smile to your face. Looking at the schedule, I cannot wait for
a lot of
the other race of this season. I can't wait
the
for
Ricmotech series in general, between with what's going to be happening in a couple of weeks with some new cars being added and some things, but this particular series here with the classic sprints and the MX-5s and what's going to be going on is just incredible. This is some great talent on display. It's going to be great tracks and great racing, just like you're seeing right now. I love it, and we've still got 17 more minutes of this. I'm just happy to see some of this stuff, just see this talent on display. Having tried these cars and tried to run these cars in the public iRacing stuff, and it's so frustrating because the talent is just not there. I love seeing this kind of talent on display. It's awesome.
Yeah, the Advanced Mazda Cup doesn't even have this amount of talent. These guys just absolutely talent pool.
I run in the, they'll have 100 people sign up, top splits, the top 18 or 20 cars, and that top 18 or 20 doesn't have 5 cars that have the talent that's in this top 30 that's here. This is great talent. So if you're watching this at home, understand that the level of talent that's in this group is extremely high end. These guys are great, and it's not just Rankin and Dam and Allen. It is through this field. These are really good races. What you're seeing, the ability to go side by side through corners like this doesn't exist this often in iRacing on this platform. It's great to see.
Yeah, and have everybody this close and put it in very close times, especially in qualifying and throughout this race. It is a absolutely good. It's another world, and it shows you why the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proformer Elite Texas Graphics is one of the most premier series on iRacing.
It's the racecraft. It's not just the ability to run the pace and run a low 35. It's the racecraft to be able to put your car side by side with someone else at the limit without bumping them off the track. And the guys that are running in 10th, 12th, 18th are doing that and staying at a really good pace. They're not doing it low 35s, they're doing it at mid 36s to 37s, but they're doing it very well at a very good pace. Whereas you go to the public series and they would not be doing this. They'd be doing it in 139s or knocking each other off the track. And what you're seeing here is great pace and great car control skills side by side and great racecraft. It's beautiful to watch. And these top three are just as good as they get in these cars, or probably in any car. I love seeing it. So. And as we get into this last 15 minutes, the last 25% of this sprint, as we're now into, start watching I don't want to call it desperation, but the moves that we're going to see from Mike Dam and John Allen to try and really push Elvis Rankin as the defending champ in this series. They're going to be pushing him at every corner and to see who can come out of turn 7 on the last lap and get the run down the chicane, who can be side by side through 10A and 10B to win it on the last lap. It's going to be a bit of pushing and a bit of strategy and a bit of note taking all the way through. And in this group that we're seeing here, and this being the Burke, Schwenke, and Hartley group, they're trying to stay in the mix as well. I don't think they've got 6 seconds in them to catch the top 3, but this group as well, they're still trying to fight for pace, and they're trying to fight for position, because if any one of those top 3 messes up, one of these guys could snag a podium.
Well, they currently got the fastest car in the grid in that group. Robert Hartley putting in the fastest lap last time by, 1:35.28.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got talent. Again, it was a little bit of a side-by-side through 10A and 10B that caused the break, and then just a little bit of traffic that caused these guys to suddenly be 6 seconds behind the top 3. That's all it was. Otherwise, this is still a 6-car field. So the talent is certainly no different here in these 3 than what we see at the top 3.
Yeah, this 3 is a little bit more desperate than the top 3. They're desperate to catch up with them and go for the maximum amount of points, because everyone wants a good result on their first race of the season, because that pretty much puts them a stepping stone on, this is how I want to start off my season. You don't want to start off your opening race with a bad race, because that just brings a little bit of excuse into there, as they're going to go side by side across the line.
Yeah, it's at risk reward. If you're sitting in second, you don't want to give up second or third, necessarily. You'll fight, but you won't necessarily want to be desperate. When you're 4th and 5th and 6th, you're like, I want to go for that 4th or 5th, but if I end up 6th or 10th because I screwed it up, it's like, it wasn't a great race anyway, I wasn't going to get the win. So you're usually a little bit more desperate for those crazy moves in 4th, 5th, 6th. If you're in the top 3, you're more of the, how do I learn enough to get that last position on the last lap, but I don't want to give up 3rd. So it's about not losing that top 3. In the 4, 5, 6, you might be willing to give up 4, 5, 6 to really to make sure you get that higher spot. You get all kinds of crazy desperate because the reward isn't great anyway. You may as well throw the risk at it.
When I was going for my karting championship back a long time ago, I would always find myself in the top 3, and I was always finding myself just right next to my championship rival, and they would get very desperate. They would fall down the field. I would stop going for the lead because I knew I would have this spot on the podium just absolutely clinched, and I would still be gaining above my championship rival. So whenever I found myself in the top 3, I would stop attacking at all.
Yeah, you get to that position you need. You just get there and you want to protect it. Whereas if you start getting desperate, you start making mistakes. And
there's a mistake right there. And Travis Schwenke not happy about that. Got punted off the side, and he's completely dropped off there. I don't believe he has any damage, but you're saying desperate moves come in, and unfortunately, that happens when some people get a little bit too desperate.
A little side by side there through 10A, kind of causes that. Whereas if you saw a moment before that, we were watching, John Allen was pushing Mike Dam while they're chasing Elvis Rankin down the back straight. Didn't pop out and go around him, was just pushing him, just bump drafting him down the back straight to make sure they stayed in line and stayed together. That's the difference of running 1, 2, 3 versus running 4, 5, 6.
As those leaders are coming up to another lapped car right there. This is Tony Kernan at Mitchell Peak. And that's a corner cut.
It's amazing how much curb you can take here at 3. And in these cars, you can use all of it. But if you're running a fast open wheel car, like the PM18 or the one of the Indy cars, something like that, or the F1 car around there.
My USF 2000 car, just
exactly.
Nope.
Yeah, you're gone. But in these MX-5s, you can clobber these curves. You want to use all of it, put that thing up on those curves. It's great. Or the Skippy or something, you can just use all that curving. It's great. And that's what you watch these guys do. You may not even, at 3, you may not even get a course cut. Oh yeah, let's watch the contact replay here.
Down the inside right here as they're heading into the chicanes. We pull off at F1 Monza. It's just a little nudge right there, mid-corner.
And then he stays with him.
Yeah,
probably going to put that one on Schwenke as well. He did, but he probably shouldn't have been that close that late in the corner. And he kept staying in there and staying in there. He should have just given up a position and waited for the next corner.
Yeah, as Hartley looks down, Mike Dan looks down the inside. Here comes Allen. He jumps up into second. It's a lockup for Rankin right there as they're going to fly all over the place. Allen now sits in second place as Elvis Rankin. He got the separation he wanted to out of there. 7/10 heading out there. And it's a little bit of a gain for Elvis Rankin, but that
John
gain
Allen,
is just too shallow.
As you mentioned there, John Allen saw the opportunity. He had to keep going. He couldn't wait for Mike Dam to recover. He's like, I just got to keep going. Forget you, Mike. I got an Elvis Rankin to catch. And you watch to get to the back straight here. Watch Mike Dam will probably push John Allen because they both know what's at stake here.
Yeah, there was avoidable contact right there. Race Control did rule out a warning. No one's obviously at fault, but both of them had things that they both could have done to avoid that. Yeah.
And if anything, the one maybe a little more at fault was the one that probably took the worst for the wear. So it is a racing thing that happens, and we move on. But
yeah, there was a braking lane change. There was a little bit too eager nose into the inside, and you can point fingers at everyone all day long, but that's usually what racing incidents consist of.
Yep.
No, it was his fault. It was his fault.
Now, boys.
just make sure nobody attacks each other in the pit area.
Exactly. All right, we don't need any helmet throwing at the end of this. All right, so as we've got about 8 minutes to go, roughly 5 or 6 laps, something like that.
Oh, Elvis. Way off track right there. Oh, you think that could bring up a cut course penalty?
I'm not sure. I mean, he certainly hasn't taken the time penalty. He might be getting the 1X's, but
you have 36 seconds to let off right there, and just a little bit of a lifting and early short shifting. That could just easily bring off the time, but
if you catch one, you'd rather give it up there before you get to the back straight.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. As the battle here, as Zach Burke and Schwenke and Vigas and these guys still battling here for 5, 6, and 7, with Hartley just out in front of them in 4th. They're just a little bit out of that draft reach. That draft, you'd like to be a second. 1.2, you can start to just faintly feel it. I tell you, we talk about how these MX-5s draft. Try running the Pro Mazdas. I've never felt a draft like the Pro Mazdas. The other was the Radicals at Spa. The Radicals at Spa, it was like 1.9 seconds back. I could feel the draft.
I remember the Pro Mazda draft because I actually ran in a Pro Mazda Formula Open Wheeler Formula Oval League, which was just 6 wide at Pocono, just nuts.
All right, it's the battle here.
And I believe if that league returned, it would be 10 wide at iRacing Super Speedway.
All right, so this is Kernan and Peak. Virtually a dead heat between the two of them. Just nose to tail. Peak, of course, in the Open, and Kernan in the Pro, but they don't care. They're still fighting for position. It's 9th on the track, or 8th on the track for position.
And Mitchell Peak very well, but let's take a look at our leaders. Elvis Rankin, John Allen, Mike Dam. Mike Dams is holding himself just a little bit of a separation between them, but John Allen, oh, he's right there.
It all takes one little, maybe, I see a lap car there in the group. I'm wondering if perhaps that had a bit of something to do with the gap there to Mike Dam, but Dam's got his work cut out for him. He's got to make sure he doesn't lose that draft.
He caught that car at the chicane.
Okay, well, with about 3 laps to go, this is where you got to start setting things up. You know, I think you can win this if you end up side by side in the final chicane. If you're trailing at the final chicane, it's going to be really tough.
Well, look at our track map. We got three laps cars ahead of them, and they're going to catch that group right at the chicane on this lap. I feel like.
They just might.
Which is going to cause a lot of chaos with about 4 minutes to go. When they do catch them, it's going to be, that's the moment where John Allen's going to go. Catch Elvis in the moment of chaos.
Well, that's what you like to pounce. Like, be given those kind of opportunities, and if you see them, you know, just like a free meal, you don't want to pass those up.
Pick and roll, pick and roll.
Yeah, but you've got to stay with them, and right now, Elvis is doing everything he can to just hold that gap. You know, his last time by, 35-7, without anybody towing him in front of him, that's a really good pace. Even with the draft, if you're drafting behind him, it's tough to just stay with him. You know, you're 6/10 back coming on to the back straight on turn 7. It's tough to even stay behind him.
I feel like the S's are going to be the the moment where they're going to start passing, and as soon as those words came out of my mouth, it's just this flow of "oh no," this came over me, and this is going to be a very interesting to see how these guys do this. You can either take this smoothly, wait for after the S's.
I think we're going to get 3 more laps, I think. We should get
2 to 3.
We should get this plus 2 more. We should. Based on the pace they're running.
They were expected 38 laps here today, so you were on target with their. Let's run on board with John Allen. So we come down through the S's right behind Elvis Ricken and heading up into these laps cars. Both of them going a little bit off track right there. And they don't care. They got 3 minutes of racing left. It is all or nothing right now. Who's it going to be, the 1 or the 101?
Well, the good thing for Elvis is if he can get a little bit of draft off the car in front of him, that's all he needs. And that car to then just pull aside as they crest the kink there at 9 will be perfect for him. Every little bit you get here in these last 2 laps.
They're in the draft. They are locked and loaded with each other. That is just, when is Elvis going to go?
And they've lost Mike Dam. Mike Dam is faded.
Yeah, Mike Dam is out of this fight. Elvis is not sending it this time by.
And the lap traffic isn't moving.
Here we go. Here comes
that
Allen.
Ladder. Here it comes.
Rankin looks down to the inside. Allen taking the regular line around. Allen's going to swing by down on to the inside. Elvis Rankin almost gets collected by that car right there. Now Allen's on to the inside heading into turn 1. Elvis Rankin has a clear amount of lead heading into turn 1. And he's going to take the regular line. Allen had a little bit of compromised lines. Gets out into the grass just a little bit. And now it's time to play a little bit of congestion charge.
You hear the yeses. Here they come.
Who's going to have the calmer head? Who's going to go for the risky move? Elvis Rankin dancing on the back of the 60 car. John Allen not being
He's got the run.
He's got Allen's got the pace. Allen's got the pace. There's the lap car. They're going to shoot it through the middle right here.
He's got to run. I don't think he's got anywhere to go with it, though, but he's got to run.
Shots of Rodney Taylor in the LMP car at the end of the Road Atlanta Endurance Race. The name's just sadly escaping my head right there. Just, oh, man.
And I don't think they've got the white flag yet. My guess is we're going to see white flag this time by.
30 seconds remain. This could be for the race. This could be for the leader of the very last lap. We're going to find out. Here comes Allen down the inside. Now or never. Allen Allen down low on Rankin, side by side they go. Allen sends it down in there. Allen's got the move done on corner entry. Allen's blocking Rankin as much as he can. 15 seconds remain as they come over the hill. Rankin now being overtaken by a lapped car. Elvis Rankin falls to Mike Dam. With 5 seconds to go, white flag is in the air.
Yep, and that worked perfectly. We talked about John Allen needing the opportunity with the lap traffic. He just used it perfectly. He got through the 10A, 10B chicane, and Elvis didn't. All of a sudden, Mike Dam caught him.
Elvis got a cut track penalty.
Oh, did he? Oh, that didn't help me either. And now Elvis has to just get a second place. He's got to get back around Mike Dam.
Yeah, Elvis cut the track as much as he could, but it was just a little bit too much. Got a cut track penalty. And that's allowed Mike Dam. We thought he was done and out of this race. And I'm going to be honest, it is still not over yet. These three still have a chance. Either one of them could win this race. Welcome back, Kiss Cam. We miss you a little bit.
I can't believe we're saying that, because as they came down the front straight, there were 5 cars. There were 2 cars between the 2 teammates and up front to John Allen. And suddenly a wide run for Allen. And now all of a sudden they're back together again. This is any one of these three's race. I don't even want to call it.
And in the background, someone is 8 wall. And now it's Allen who has a bad exit. Here comes Mike Dam in second place. Here comes Elvis Rankin down low. Elvis Rankin looking to make a move for second place on Mike Dam. He's going to maybe try to go on Allen because he's currently got the pace. They're going to go 3 wide heading into the chicane on the very last lap. Who's going to set themselves up for the win? Allen, Dam, Rankin. Dam and Rankin, both of them cut in the corner as much as they can. Here comes Elvis Rankin down onto the inside. They both got the pace on Allen. They're going to go 3 wide across the line. Here comes Rankin down low by a nose. Elvis Rankin wins this race.
How? How did he do that?
I'm done.
Look at this. And for fourth, it's Burke ahead of Schwenke and Hartley. 4, 5, and 6. And Vigus will take 7th, but that last lap. A little bit of a wide run there for John Allen. Kept the door open for Rankin and Dam both. Rankin got the inside line and got the momentum down the hill. John Allen had to wiggle a little bit coming down the hill, and next thing you know, Elvis Rankin ends up again with the win. I'm stunned, but the skills on display are just amazing. I'm just thrilled. Amazing.
I set a New Year's resolution to not yell and get a complaint from my neighbors for being loud. Yeah, I failed that already. How can I not? That was awesome. 0.04 of a second, 1/10 separating all 3 of them in the very last corner.
Unbelievable.
Oh, hello iRacing top 10. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, great finish. Great way to kick off the season. First race of the Ricmotech Sprint Series here for season 18, start of 2021. What way to get things going than to have a Miata race come down to the last corner at Road Atlanta of these 3 talented drivers. A lap earlier we're saying it's over. It's John Allen's. It's a fight for second between Rankin and Dam. Next thing you know, Rankin's on the top step. Allen and Dam second and third. Unbelievable.
People have certainly lost fingernails, and there is Elvis Rankin giving a big slide. Oh, man. I know he was streaming this race on his Twitch right there, and I'm going to be honest, that was probably the most insane Twitch to watch. Wow, what a race.
Oh, that was amazing. Just an amazing run to get through that traffic and to come away the victor there. That's just amazing. So I can't wait to talk to him here.
Wow, well, what a race. We're certainly going to have to take a little bit of a breather before we get our ending race results. You're here watching the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. We'll be right back to conclude this broadcast. Welcome back to the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. And after a wild 60 minutes, we were treated to a wild last lap where Elvis Rankin takes the win just by a narrow margin ahead of the rest of the field. And here joined by our Open winner, Tony Kernan, who finished in 9th overall, but first in the Open category. And just wow.
Yeah, just amazing race up and down. Just to watch those guys on display, just the battles were just incredible to watch. I'm stunned. that was beautiful.
I honestly have no words for that last lap. At start, we thought it was all over. Then Allen had that bad exit off the straight. And we got a replay of it right here going from the S's. Look at that line that Elvis took to maximize the speed. And this is lap 1.
Yeah, just to start the getaway, to set up just the Mazda beat, as we were calling it, for the first 15 minutes of the race, just to get things going. But then all of a sudden when John Allen started mixing it up, changed the whole tone of the race, didn't it? Yeah, just a crazy, crazy race.
Yeah, and ooh, race control landing a 30-second post-race penalty to car 64. Don't believe, where would that put him?
David Payton?
And David Payton, he finished all the way down in,
moving down a couple spots.
Yeah, that would move him down a couple spots. He finished 15th overall. Yeah, that would hurt him.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And after a very wild race, Elvis Rankin takes the win ahead of John Allen. Mike Dam finishing in 3rd. And either of them in the same photo. Man, you can take a photo right there, looking at it at different angles, and I can tell you, that order was completely different from the top of the hill.
Yeah, that was quite a finish between those top 3.
And they're followed by Zach Burke, Travis Schwenke, Robert Hartley, Clint Vigas, Tony Kernan winning the Open set. The Open cars, followed by Jordy Fike, Jeff Jacobs, Tyler Shiflett, Gortson in 12, followed by David Payton, who has a 30-second time penalty, and I believe that will drop him down into 14th, where Randall McGrew is right now. They're followed by Chris Thorman and Tom Ruth in 16th. And here's our SD Open.
These are probably subject to be changed.
Yeah, our SD Open subject to be changed paints results. Mitchell Peak is our current located winner, but they did put Kernan as the winner in the Open category. Like we said, subject to be changed, but they're followed by Mack, Soto, Holland, Santinelli, McNulty, Parchino, Cranston, Taylor, Chrysler, Key, Brockway, Huron, Brown, and Provanis at the end of the ST Open grid. And standing by with us right now, I would say the man of the hour, the man whose fist has not left the air from so many fist bumps he's done. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Elvis Rankin.
I'm glad to be here.
Elvis, going into that final lap, you were in 3rd. And then going into the straight, you were about half a second behind Allen with your teammate. And then going into the bridge, you were 3 wide sitting in 2nd. What the heck happened?
Well, I'll just start on the second to last lap. Just cutting too much of the curbing behind Allen and getting a slowdown on the last lap. I literally said over the radio, "Good race, Allen," because I was like, "Oh, there's no shot we're winning this." I mean, I'm gonna salvage with Mike and try and get him, but I knew there was probably gonna be no shot that we were gonna get Allen. So, but yeah, kind of, I was noticing throughout the lap that Allen was missing apexes. He was overdriving corners, and I was like, maybe there's a shot. He missed one of the corners onto a straight. I was like, okay, maybe there's something. And then as soon as he kind of missed that corner and went wide into the grass into the corner to the back straight, pretty sure turn 7. I was like, all right, there's a sign of hope. And I kind of had seen this before in the practice that we had done. And I noticed that 3rd place, he could really get a good over-under and slingshot to the inside. And I was like, all right, you know what, I'll try it. I think worst case scenario, I can at least get Mike. I think John overdriving into the grass again, kind of what saved me. He could have easily turned down on me, but he left me the room, and I was just in shock coming across the line in first.
Well, you came home in the lead today by the most narrow margins. Is there any other way to end this very first race of the season other than with a close, fantastic, memorable finish like that?
No, for sure not. We knew Road Atlanta was going to be a really good track for racing. It's got a really big draft track, so we knew there was going to be a decent amount of guys in it, and I think it definitely lived up to the hype.
Well, certainly the hype is settled, and I'm pretty sure you set yourselves a very high bar for the Classic Sprint Series and finishes to come throughout this season. Well, Elvis, you took the win here. You made the #1 proud on your car, and well, as the defending champion, you win the first race of the season. So, before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, for sure. I want to first off, this is the first race I'm doing it, so I want to thank them first. I want to thank all of the guys on my Twitch chat tonight at twitch.tv/Elvis Live TV for just being here with me. And I think we put on a good enough show for them and everyone at Apex Racing TV. So I just want to thank them first off for just being here and watching the stream. And yeah, I also want to thank my team, Orion Race Team, for doing an amazing job, and my teammates Rob Hartley, Travis Schwenke, and Mike Dam. I think we always come into these seasons and in this series, and we know that we're going to get a fun fight. I also want to thank our team manager, Frosty St. Clair. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa for just doing everything for us, and for me, I should say, and help me out with anything that we can do, or they can do for me. I want to thank Extreme 99 and Ricmotech for putting on the series. Oh, and I completely forgot our team sponsors, HPP and Joel Real Timing. I can't forget those guys. They keep us on the track for sure. On the sim side, but yeah, back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, Extreme 99, Ricmotech for putting this whole deal on, the admins, Kevin Ford, Jeff Jacobs, and Ryan Cobb for doing an amazing job, and keeping this league going for 18 seasons now, and it's definitely worth the registration for sure. I can't recommend it enough. I want to thank you guys at Apex Racing TV to finish it off, and for broadcasting the race tonight.
Thank you, Ellis, and you go have a good night as well. And we're going to bring it over to Larry, who is standing by with our Open winner.
Actually, I think we've got might be John Allen. I think it's John Allen's going to be joining us. Let's bring John Allen in here. I want to talk to him. John Allen, good evening, John. I want to thank you because the first quarter of this race was looking like a giant Mazda P, just a train of MX-5s, and you started mixing it up a little bit. You just changed the whole landscape of the race, and it never stopped right up to the end. So I want to thank you for that. Was that your strategy? John? Oh, no. Do we have a John?
Oh, my apologies, guys.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I heard you. I was muted there. So, yeah, there was a point in time where we were, playing follow the leader a little bit. There were some fuel savings going on, and deciding who would pit win. We talked to each other. A lot of us in the front actually, have a channel shared during the race, and it gets serious near the end. We clam up a little bit, but it's fun joshing around until then. And at one point, Elvis had a run. He didn't take it, and Robert said, "Oh, come on, Elvis." And so I went one turn later, like, "All right, you want some action? We'll take some action." But then, it got near pit window time, and really the race went about as I had hoped and even intended, just kind of staying in the top 3, not risking too much, from pressure from behind, and then kind of having my own choice of when to pit. I know I've got the pit stops nailed. I knew that would go pretty well. I had plenty of fuel because I took 4 tires and thought that might help at the end. And really, I just, I made the move when it worked, and I even was able to maybe pinch Elvis a little bit into getting that cutting penalty and had a cushion. and from there it was all no one to blame but me. I put a couple tenths light on the final lap just to cool the tires and get a good launch out of 7, and I pushed wide out of 7 and gave it back the draft. And then Mike was alongside going into 10A there, and the spotter said so, and then I never got a clear. And so I kind of left that lane open thinking we were 3 wide or about to be through 10A, and then got stuck in neutral. So then I go into 3rd thinking, okay, we're going to be 3 wide. I never got heard the clear, so I thought someone was inside the whole time, which is why I left that lane open. And Elvis wasn't there yet. I could have, the whole time up the hill, up to the bridge, I could have come over and guarded and probably had the win. So a little frustrated at my own awareness there of where
the
everybody
darn
was.
spotter not helping you out.
Well, that's the value of having a real one. iRacing does a good job, and that's usually what I use. But a couple seasons ago, I got a buddy to do it for the first time and rattled off 3 wins in a row. So that should have been a clue, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was a great race all around. In fact, as we watched the pit strategies unfold, you had a chance for a bit there to just have you and Elvis, just the 2 of you, kind of out by yourselves as the rest of the pack had faded a little bit. You pit early, and that kind of surprised us a little bit, which separated you from him. You didn't take that advantage to just run with him, maybe just sticking to your own strategy. You managed to come back when he then did pit. You still came back out somewhat together with him, with Mike Dam. But at the end of the race, it still just came down to those last couple laps and fighting with that traffic, which you seem to be taking the opportunities a little bit better, maybe than or forcing, I guess, Elvis into bad positions and taking advantage of.
Yeah, the traffic. I try never to get too frustrated with traffic. It's, if you look at it right, it's an opportunity for more of an advantage than a disadvantage. You just gotta see it coming and play the position, and that did help me close a little bit at the end. As far as the pits went, when I saw how things had developed and we were stretched out a little bit, I pitted when I did, essentially hoping that I could still come out behind Elvis, but it might break Mike, because there was a big enough gap from Elvis in front and Mike to the rear that Mike might not have Elvis's draft. And so I went in thinking, I'll go now, and maybe it can just be the 2 of us, and we can turn it from 7 or whatever it had been. So Mike had an epic pit stop and actually jumped me, and only because of his draft and us being able to kind of work together a bit did we get back to Elvis on his outlap, or Mike might have had his way with it.
Yeah, no, it worked out very well for the 3 of you to be right there neck and neck right at the end, and I fully expect this is how this whole season's going to go. There's going to be 3 or 4 of you right down to the last couple of corners, and looking at next week's track, we're at Watkins Glen, and it races a lot like Road Atlanta, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. At least on the track surface, the big difference is proximity of walls off the track surface. So we'll see how that affects things. But another draft track, another place that dialing in the car to be good in the right places matters a lot. Like in this race, I was very confident in the car in turn 1, and that was a place I could close. So early on, if I was nearing out of the draft, I didn't really worry. If I just nailed turn 1, I was back. And I'll have to find a place at Watkins to kind of build the setup around.
Yeah. Well, good job tonight. Still able to bring it home in second there, and it'd be a great points battle all season long, I'm sure. Anybody you want to thank tonight?
It's going to be a great season. Welcome the newcomers in the behind the wheel, and different dynamic without having multi-class. Glad you guys are back and putting it on. I'm sure it'll be fun to watch back. But the usual suspects, on the car to find AutoWorks, and of course Ricmotech, all the sponsors. And then off the car, but on the real track, some new blood watching and cheering on. So shout out tonight to Astro Autosport as well.
All right. Well, thanks and congratulations tonight. We will see you at the next race in a couple of weeks.
Good deal. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Sean. All right, Austin. I don't know if we have anybody else.
No, we are all set and ready to go to, put the first race in the books here of the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, presented by Proformer Elite Texas Graphics. Season 18 can't get, 2021 is Season 18, pretty much kicked off with a bang here on Apex Racing TV with these guys, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to the next races here on the Ricmotech calendar and the next Ricmotech CSS, because I'm going to be honest, I just have so much more waiting to go as we have a look on what's next to come here on the Ricmotech series every Monday night. Our 2021 season opener for the sports car series will be over at Sebring, and we stay over in the southeastern area. We head over to Daytona Speedway for the Ricmotech World Challenge on January 18th. And then the next round of the CSS are going to go to Watkins Glen. And that's just going to be a absolutely fantastic race. Larry, what are you looking forward to in these next races?
I'm obviously looking forward to all of them, but I think that World Challenge with the new cars, the new format, the new classes coming in at Daytona Speedway is going to be just incredible. That'll be kicking off in about 2 weeks, but the Ricmotech series, all 3 different events have their own unique charms, and it's great to be able to bring all of them. I'm looking forward to an entire season of all 3 rotating series. They are the best.
Yeah, you can find out all results over at extrememotorsports99.com/classic sprint series. For Mary McLeod, I'm Austin Knight, and I've been joined with Alex Simpson and Dennis Branch in the production booth, and I hope y'all have a fantastic night.